You know, I got to take my hats off to them. I have to make a caveat here. I'm actually the Vice President of the Sunshine Coast District with the RSL. All what I say here is as a private citizen, and I have to get that in because I do wear a dual hat with the RSL and with Overwatch. RSL and Overwatch work well together. We get a veteran seeing a veteran instead of a police intervention. I'm not going to knock the police, they do a wonderful job, but at my worst, I would hate my brother who was on the job to run into a veteran who was like me, where suicide by cop wouldn't have been a problem. We bandy around this number about suicide and numbers, and it just depends on how you play with the statistics. A veteran who runs his car into a tree where there's no brake marks, no skid marks, that is not a suicide. Of course it is. Of course it is. A veteran who drinks himself to death over 30 years is not considered a suicide. Of course it is. He just pulled a slow trigger. And it's how they see how the coroners see the death. There's a lot more suicides that go unreported, you know, and that's what I will deal with anybody. I will talk with anybody. I will do anything to reduce that numbers, because at the end of the day, it's not the Australian Defence Force, it's the Australian Defence family.
Thank you.
And that's where I stand.
Just for the past 3 years, since 2013, I have been advocating for medicinal cannabis, and I believe that I think it is very much needed, especially with this issue of PTSD. At this point in time, I would like to introduce you to, via FaceTime, Benjamin, his name's Adam Benjamin, from Medicare. Now, from Medifarm. Sorry, Adam. I have met you a couple of times, Adam. I know this.
No, it's cute. It's very far away.
From Cape Town, South Africa. So great to see you. So please.
Very nice. Look, very nice to join you, and thank you all there for being involved. And I hope, Senator, you feel comfortable. I think it's very important for everyone tonight watching and in the room to see that Queensland as a state, in terms of its application for medicinal cannabis proven treatments, has the most progressive legislation out of any state in Australia. And these things don't just magically happen. In this case, the Senator was instrumental in ensuring that the framework is set at the best standard in Queensland. So really, I hope I can publicly applaud you and you feel comfortable. But can I add? Can I also add to Dylan's remark? I think you're right that non-military people, myself included, we can try our best to understand, but it is our job. As Australians, we have the luxury of living in possibly the world's best country. There are reasons it's the best country. Our military does an amazing. Most aren't aware of it. I was privileged this day to be down at Holdsworthy for the service. My brother-in-law currently serves at an elite level, and it's very important that, as you say, Dylan, we're very happy for military to go and defend and proudly serve, but we must continue that when you come home. So Medifarm is a Sunshine Coast. It's a Queensland business. I happen to be overseas at the moment, so we have an intended facility for medicinal cannabis to grow and all the way to production to patients. In this case, PTSD there is clearly, as you all are aware, an unmet need. It's complex, and I'd be very interested to learn more from Dr. O'Brien over time. But we, as a company, recognise that medicinal cannabis overseas has proven benefits, particularly with PTSD. Now, I don't want to suggest it's a cure-all, but if you are the right patient and this is the right medication, it works, and very well. And as the Senator pointed out, it's not just about the person, perhaps, it's the family, it's the whole environment. And recently we've signed with the leading international company from Israel. If for those of you who are aware, in Israel, service in the military is mandatory, and they have an extremely high level of engagement. So they need to come up with good solutions, and they do. We have Israel's top psychiatrist also specialises in PTSD, and we would be very keen to introduce this 15 years of proven evidence-based medicine to the people here and the medicos and the patients, potential patients here. On the Sunshine Coast, we're working with the University of the Sunshine Coast through the Thompson's Institute, and I would please very much encourage anyone who's interested in PTSD or solutions. There is a Thompson Institute specifically set up now on the Sunshine Coast to become that hub of expertise for PTSD. In Israel, our leading psychiatrist has thousands of PTSD patients, many successfully treated. He has been offering medicinal cannabis successfully for 8 years so far to 540 or thereabouts patients, military and emergency services and the like, and seeing remarkable results. And Senator, as you said, the family, I recently met one of the Israeli soldiers or former soldiers, and it struck me when he said, you know what, when he got better, even the cat was happy to see him go home. And I think that you know, there is and this amazing, when you find the solution, there is a huge value add.
Well, that's very good. Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much for joining us. And that's what it's all about too, because this is another part. Yeah, thank you. All the way from South Africa.
Thank you very much.
Cape Town.
Thank you.
And that's what we're sort of all part of, because I've actually been pushing for medicinal cannabis for those number of years. I've asked a question in the House and Parliament just only a couple of weeks ago, where in Queensland the state government were about to pass synthetic medicinal cannabis. And my question on the floor of Parliament sent shockwaves through the Parliament in Queensland, where they then changed it to make it from the actual plant itself, the natural plant, which is far better for everyone. So we have made some changes and differences, so I'm pleased about that. And the sooner we can actually have it available in Queensland, the better for a lot of people, not just with PTSD, but a lot of other ailments that people can use. That's right,
yeah,
everything.
For sure. And it's been proven to help out with a lot of other stuff. What I'd like to say is that we're fed all these drugs, all these different drugs, help you sleep, help you do this, help you do that, help you do this. But that's not natural. They're not natural drugs. So, not myself, but I do know a lot of people that do already use this, and they do not use it as a party drug. It's not used as a party drug, and I 100% swear to you and guarantee, and I would not lie to you, it is used purely to help them get through the day-to-day arduous tasks that civilians may be able to find easy to do, or someone without PTSD can find a lot easier to do than we can. So I 100% agree on this, because I've seen it.
It's only part
working.
of it.
Yep.
It's part of it that we may be able to, help in some way.
Instead of
Remember,
taking 20 bad made-up, man-made drugs, let's have something that's naturally grown by the earth.
Pauline, if I may, I'd like to ask if you could take back a message to Canberra. We talked about families before, and that's something, my wife's standing over there, and she's one of the reasons why I'm still alive, because she didn't leave me when I couldn't get a dog to stay with me because I was so far down. To the families out there, what happens when a veteran sits in denial? Hands up, any veteran here who spent time in denial about their PTSD. Damn straight. A lot of them. 60% of all veterans who suffer from PTSD will never get help. So what happens to their family when the veteran will not get help, the veteran will not go to DVA, will not go to any of the VVCS, there's no paper trail, where's the help for their families? That's what I want to see. So when there's a veteran who has PTSD, clear signs, but is not getting treatment, not got the DVA forms filled out, I'd like to see the families not treading on eggshells. I'd like to see the kids not wondering if daddy's going to throw mummy through.
But a lot of time is what we're saying is the partners will have enough. Yeah. It eventually gets to the stage where they've had enough, and see you later.
I can't blame the ladies for leaving.
And that does not help the sufferer in itself, with the family leaving, because that's all they got at that stage. But I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that's what happened.
We were lucky. We had an incredible lady who was a psychologist who treated us as a whole group. And you've got to have that holistic approach. But it's when the veteran refuses to believe he has a problem. He refuses to believe that his drinking that is excessive. He refuses to believe that his violence is excessive, and he refuses to believe that his drug taking is excessive. You know, and that's where we've got to help. We've got to help those children, because I'm getting sick and tired of getting called in the middle of the night by veterans' children who are now hooking up through me on Facebook and saying, JJ, Dad's out of control. What are you going to do? Can you get people to help? And then I'm getting out of bed at 12 o'clock to go at night to go drive. We've driven here from the Sunshine Coast 7 hours to get here tonight, and we only found out about it today. So that's my passion. Our passion is to be here and to make a difference.
Remember when I met you that night at Rockhampton, you asked me the question, and I said to you, Dylan, I will take you to Canberra, and I will organise a meeting with you personally with the minister. Remember I said that?
Yep.
JJ, you just said to me, take the message back to Canberra. How about, with the both of you, come to Canberra with me, and I'll make an appointment for the minister. You can take your own message.
Funny you should mention that. I was talking to Dan Tian, the Minister for Veterans Affairs, when I did the poppy service, and I'd love to.
Make an appointment for you. I can't take a message. You're the only one that can take it back with you. I can give you the support.
I was just like,
and I can stand there right beside you, but you've got the message and you've got to deliver it.
Oh, sorry.
Can I bring a one?
Is that okay?
Can I bring a +1, please?
Yeah, I have to bring my +1. She's my carer.
Of course, because it is family, isn't it? I mean, so without your
I
wife...
want to take your best mate down.
Yeah. All right, well...
I cop
listen,
blue
guys,
bloody murder.
We're going to actually have a talk about this when times suit, and we will... And I tell you what, the minister, I have met him, and I think he's lovely, and I think he is very caring, and I think he will listen to what you have to say.
I believe
and I'm
that.
not going to be the only senator. I know I've got another 2 here, and I've got another one from Western Australia, and I know you will get the support of Jackie Lambie, and I know you get David Lionhelm, and I know you'll get a few of the other senators, and I will talk to them. So it's just not going to be a handful. We're going to get a lot more than that. So you get your message. I'll take you to Canberra. We'll knock on some doors, and we'll try and get some answers. Okay?
I just hope Canberra's ready for some truth.
They've got me.
And they're not liking that.
Look, was there any questions anyone wanted to ask with regards to this? Is there anyone who'd like to make a comment about tonight?
Hi Pauline, I'm Karen from Newcastle. I've travelled up here today on behalf of the people at Williamtown. There's also some serious post-traumatic stress disorder happening there because of the military, because of the contamination in the land and water from the RAF base. So there's 650 families down there that are also suffering, and I feel it's connected to this. And I'd just like to also raise an awareness about that and say the issues are bigger than we think. And I'd like...
That is right. We are looking into that, and actually Brian Burston, who's the Senator for your area, has raised that. But like I did say earlier, this is about PTSD. Well, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And giving acknowledgement that this is about PTSD, please understand that the families who are affected by those toxic chemicals will get PTSD because there's an unknown experience, unknown illness that they don't have control over. And that's the bottom of it too, is about losing control. And that's the core of PTSD. If there was one thing that non-military people, practitioners who want to help military families to go away with, it's to understand that the root cause of PTSD is about losing control. Losing control of your environment, losing control of what's happening around you, what happened to your friends, particularly at Christmas time, and losing control of yourself and your own reactions, your own thoughts, feelings, experiences, and the memories. You can't control that. And we are, well, military people, our basic training is how to control our fear. We run towards probable death. We're running towards an enemy that is likely to kill us. And that takes a lot of control. And when that is taken away, we try to regain our normal. And our normal is what we were doing back in uniform, what we were mentally programmed and neurologically designed or redesigned through our basic training to think about and to do. And this is why families are not understood, military families or just PTSD families in general are not understood, is because of that neurological processes around basic training and how we have changed up here, and it changes everywhere inside as well. So families that have got the neurological, transgenerational, genetic consequences of those dioxins and toxins, we talk about Agent Orange, that's common. But what about the other stuff that's happening around the place? You know, it was a devil's rainbow because there were multiple colours. There was Agent Blue, that was arsenic. We got white, we got green. It was just about whatever colour was on that 44-gallon drum, am I right? Yeah, so those consequences on a family where a child is born with anything from spina bifida, cleft palate, you name it, you know, reproductive disorders in women, they don't know where that comes from. The doctors don't know where that comes from. It's an unknown. And because they've lost control over their bodies and nobody knows why, then trauma sets in. And guilt and shame follow very quickly.
Right. We've got someone else here for a question.
Hello. Firstly, I'm just a civvy and I get that. I just want to say thank you to you personally for having the balls to be on that stage and telling your truth. It takes a lot and I am forever grateful. I work with cannabis already. I do work with cannabis already. I believe it is a healer. There is a group I want you all to know about called Weeded Warrior. They are return vets that do use cannabis. Google them. They are fantastic. They know way more than I do, but they are there for everybody around Australia, not just Queensland, if you know anyone struggling. But my main thing was just to thank you. Thank you for speaking the truth. All of you have done that tonight, and we don't hear enough. Pauline, you are the exception to the rule, woman. God help them down in Canberra, love.
Thank you.
I just want to say thanks for her, and just remember you're not just a civilian. But I'd like her to say thanks for saying thanks to me.
And just to everybody, you're not alone. All of us who have suffered PTSD or know somebody who suffered PTSD, you are not alone. You are not alone. Reach out and just ask for help, please.
Look, honestly, I'm sorry, Pauline, but I just have to say it because I'll forget it. But look, seriously, in military people, let's get back to military personnel. Military personnel, PTSD starts at Wagga Wagga. When you go into your basic training, they are teaching you to have it. You go off to your core training, they advance it. You go to your battalion, you go to your regiment, you go to whatever corps you go to, they will advance it. You fight for war. 24/7, you are fighting for what? To defend this country or go and defend our allies. That's simple. To do this, you need a person of a particular nature. A civilian's average cup is a quarter full. Someone annoys them in the car traffic, a little bit of water goes in it. Someone annoys them at work, a little bit of water. Now the average, I'll talk about infantry now because I was infantry. The average infantryman's cup while they're serving is about 2 mil from the top. And I'm not lying. Right? So we go out and have a beer on the weekend with the lads, and someone pushes in front of the kebab shop at 2 o'clock in the morning in front of me, we're going to have dramas. Because our cup flows over very quickly. So it's taught, it's trained. They won't say it, but I'm telling you, I worked there, I watched DVDs on it. That's where it starts.
Yeah, exactly right. We went in infantry, or went in the defence forces altogether. I have found that most people, when attacked, we will attack back. It's just drained into you. Run, down, crawl, observe, aim, fire. You'd know ex-infantry, and all you infantry are like that too. You never learn. You can't forget that, can you? Somebody attacks you, or the perception of attack. Even the perception of attack. It doesn't have to be real. In your mind, good enough. Somebody's pulled a trigger, you're going to pull it first.
That's where the hypervigilance, the on guard, the anger, the stipulations of, oh, you're always angry, Dad. You're going off at the drop of a hat because you spend 11 years training to do this, or overseas actually doing it, and then to come home and to try and get back into society to where, okay, well, it's only spilt milk. Doesn't matter, it's only spilt milk. Ask my wife up the back what happens when milk's spilt in my place some days. Okay? It's a serious issue for me, and I can't get over it sometimes. But that's just how it is.
And this is where we could touch on this. We're starting to encroach on the topic of domestic violence in military families with PTSD. That again is also a very highly misunderstood and therefore mistreated issue. That because the ex-serviceman with PTSD is always on that brim, their cup is about to floweth over, and that, as JJ said, perceived threat will spill the cup over, then that the risk of what we call domestic violence is very, very high in military families with young returned servicemen, particularly when there's kids. And it was Vietnam veterans had the same issue as well.